I'm here with Nathan Brooks. What was your experience with divorce in your life, and how did that contribute to your life?
Thank you so much for asking, because it is critical, and in my own understanding, it has been critical. When I was 14, my parents were divorced, and I was your average 14-year-old, so I was all over the place. Angry about this, overambitious about this, and when my parents were divorced, my identity was scarred. So I, from that point, was very lonely and emotional, like you'd expect any 14-year-old to be. And you always find ways to deal with this yourself.
Right.
So when you're a child at the time, basically, I was sucked into, I was sucked into a cult, where we observed witchcraft in various forms, such as blood type stuff, and homosexuality, of course, goes in tandem with witchcraft.
Right.
So we,
among other types of perversion.
Well, we'll go there one day.
Yeah.
One day.
Yeah.
So I made great friends, and I learned to love a lot during that period of time. But basically, I wound up in jail at a very young age, in the juvenile courts and all of that, and wound up in a charter school rehabilitation program, and it's indispensable, to my experience. I absolutely needed that. I needed to hit the ropes a few times before I could stand up on my feet.
Right.
But when it was all said and done, we went to in a charter school. I met a girl who was wonderful to me as a friend, and we had a child together. So I was 16 with a child, with a 17-year-old who was graduating high school. Basically, the day that she was admitted into the hospital, she was supposed to go to school. And, that was 18 years ago, nearly 19 years ago. Wow. So basically, divorce led me down that path, and understanding that was not easy, because it's taken me the past 6 years of digging into my own past, dealing with my crap, to see it, because what I've noticed is in discussing this issue of divorce, not with child support, everybody knows it's wrong, right? So much is wrong.
Yeah.
You don't need to mention much before people say debtor's prison.
Yeah.
Peonage.
Yeah.
It doesn't take, something's obviously wrong.
Yeah.
But when you start talking about divorce, it's almost as if you're a fish trying to describe the water.
Yeah.
The cult, it's part of our culture now.
Yeah.
As far as how far people have been normalized, my daughter has been the one to tell me about a lot of that, how you could just disagree with somebody's lifestyle change. I became a vegan. This is the story she told me. I became a vegan, and he wasn't, so I divorced him. This is something that happened to somebody she knows. I became a vegan overnight, and then just...
So that's the end of that. Yeah, so here's another person that says, well, wait a minute. I didn't know this was part of the package deal that I was signing up for. Let's talk about the divorce issue just a little bit more.
We need to.
This idea that these attorneys have, that we need to look out for the best interest of the children in divorce.
Yeah.
When you start talking about divorce, the best interests of the children have been completely eliminated from the get-go. The best interest of the children in almost every instance is to be raised in an intact family with his or her natural mother and father, hopefully surrounded by strong extended family and by a society that supports marriage.
And grandparents.
And grandparents.
It's huge.
Yes.
To me it is. Because I know it's so important that my children, and even if I have to twist grandpa's arm or whatever it is. No, you're not going fishing. You know, it's so important for the kids to have that feeling of legacy,
Right.
And greater, larger world, you know, mind schemes, you
Right.
know,
Right.
and how they fit into the world.
So to continue on with this, in Texas, we, for all intents and purposes, have divorce on demand. We have divorce for any reason, divorce for no reason. Divorce, you can make up a reason. And when divorce is filed against you, you have no defense. The person who files for divorce wins the divorce. That is the prize. Oftentimes they get the children, they get child support, they get something like that. But the person who says, well, wait a minute. When I got married, it was with the intent of having a lifelong relationship with you, to have this institution that we were going to be raising our children. This is what I wanted. This is what I signed up for. And the state says, you don't get to keep that, because legal marriage basically has no legal protection in the state of Texas anymore. And so you've seen that.
It's a real tragedy.
It is a real tragedy. But somehow, you know, by promoting divorce, but with these divorce attorneys who make a ton of money off of it, they're looking out for the best interest of the children.
That's it.
Yeah.
And even if there is a parent who acts clearly in the best interest of their children, they can even find a way to twist it nowadays,
Right.
because people just don't know exactly how to stand up for their rights.
Right.
People don't know how to communicate and really interface,
Right.
not just with law enforcement and court officials,
Right.
but even their own business entity at what they are, and recognizing their own status. You know, very basic things that nobody's going to tell you, and especially lawyers thrive
Off of
on
ignorance and-
yes.
Yeah, yeah. What I hear you saying, and correct me if I'm wrong, you were living a normal life. Your parents got divorced, and your life kind of, to some
lost.
degree,
I was lost
yeah,
with everything that I had going on at the age of 14. I mean, it was a satanic cult.
yeah,
And that was when we started making reports with our FBI field office. And because one day I was hanging out up at the mall, and Arlington Police Department identified me as a cult leader. And you know, so it was really important that I stuck with getting to know officials, licensed professional counselors, mental health professionals, just as a person, and particularly as a man aggrieved.
yeah.
Yes, divorce, while I was still a child, sent me down a path that I would not have otherwise gone down.
Yeah. Do you think your parents anticipated that?
No, of course not. But you know, they by no way. I mean, by all intent, it was a healthful, somewhat healthy divorce.
So a good divorce still caused this.
Right.
Versus a bad divorce.
Yes. Take that is a good takeaway from it. Really.
So a good divorce caused you to go down this whole thing. And
My parents have never been at each other's throats. Never. I mean, they probably fought. You know what? They kept that amongst themselves.
Had they known what was going to happen, and if they would have put it together, we get divorced, this is going to happen to our kids, do you think they would have tried harder to stay together?
That's impossible for me to know.
Yeah.
I pray that, though.
Yeah.
I pray for that.
Yeah.
Because I do think that they're both good people.
Yeah.